What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Landscape Marketing Mastery, episode number 5. Today, we're going to be covering email and text marketing, which is a perfect way to not only reactivate your old customers, maybe get them on an upsell opportunity or get them to leave a review, but also a great way to show your professionalism to new prospects who are just getting to know your business. Overall, it's a great way to bring in new prospects, new paying clients. And yeah, let's dive in. Email and SMS marketing. This is a great way to get in touch with your prospects directly to their inbox with personalized messaging that's meant to hit exactly what they need. So a little bit about me before we start. I developed the client surge workflow after working in the office of a landscaping and tree service company that's doing 3 million plus in yearly revenue. After that, I founded New Hope Creative, which is the digital marketing agency. This is the logo in the top right. And this is where we help other landscaping and home service businesses achieve those same tremendous results that I help to get with the client surge workflow. So you may be asking, why email and text marketing? Great question. So email and SMS marketing allows for you to get directly in touch with your prospect. You go directly to their inbox. If you check your email, if you check your text on a daily basis, which I know I do, this is a great way to get in touch with your prospects, remind them of your business, show them any new sales that you have to offer. It's extremely low cost. You're not paying for any advertisements. You're really just paying for the software. And it does require that you keep track of your lead and customer info. So if you don't have a CRM system or at least a spreadsheet where you've got the contact info of all of your customers, I highly, highly recommend you start doing that now. Super important in any method of marketing, regardless of if it's email or text or anything else. It's really important that you have people's numbers, have people's emails, their names. In this day and age, the more info that you can have on your prospects, the better. So emails and text both have their individual use cases that can be used extremely effective when used properly. Just know when to use them, and that's something that we're going to be covering in today's video. So step number 1 is building your list. So as I mentioned, it's really important that you have a running list of all your customers and their contact information. Now, it is important that you are legally collecting these lists. If you just go out there and you buy a list of leads, it might not necessarily be legal because you need to have permission to contact these people. Now, is it necessarily a huge deal? Now, on the small scale, I don't think you're really going to be getting in much trouble. However, it's always important to stay on the side of caution and make sure that you're not breaking any rules or reaching out to people who haven't given you permission to contact you. So to collect emails and phone numbers, there are many, many methods. In just regular business, if you're doing a job for someone, you should always ask for their email and phone number just so that you have a profile of who they are as a customer. But you can also do this through many online marketing methods, such as Facebook ads, Google ads, your landing page, your website. And what you can do is you can put web forms on your site. You can use surveys or contests or giveaways, or maybe quizzes that you post on your social media to get that contact information in the door so that you can start marketing to them via email and text. So when you have their information, it's important to then segment those people into different categories. I talked a little bit about this in understanding your audience. We're going to talk about it more today. So what segmenting your audience allows you to do is it allows you to split up your audience into different categories that allows you to give them relevant information. If you have a list of leads and a list of former clients, those are two sections of people that are completely different. Prospects who haven't done business with you before need to get hit with sales and social proof and stuff about your business that will make them trust you more. But your former customers have already done business with you. They already know whether they trust you or not. What you can do here is you can just remind them of the services that you offer, maybe get them on an upsell opportunity, or maybe ask them for a review, maybe ask them to refer you to their friends, maybe even offer an incentive for that. Say, hey, we'll give you $25 if you send us to one of your friends and they end up signing up for service. It's a great way to incentivize people to spread the word, to get that word of mouth marketing out there, which is always going to be number 1 in a local service business like this. So what you can do to segment your audience is use your CRM or whatever platform you're using to send your emails or text messages and apply tags to each customer profile. So a tag is essentially a label that goes on a customer profile that says, hey, they're a part of this group. So if you put a tag on someone that says prospect, or if you put a tag on someone that says former client, you're going to know which category they belong to. And then when you're sending out the emails and texts, you can say, okay, only send this email to people with the tag prospect, or only send this email to the tag with former client, whatever it may be for you. This is up to you to create the system, but we're going to go over sort of the conceptual and strategy behind it today so that you can implement it in your own business. So after you've created a list of emails and you've segmented it accordingly, it's time to start crafting effective messaging. Now, keep in mind your brand voice, which we covered, I believe, in episode 2. Your brand voice is super necessary for this. You need to make sure that you're communicating consistently across all platforms and that you're sounding the same. You need to be trustworthy. You need to be the same voice all the time. So, like I said here, make sure that you're using a consistent tone and style of language. So email and SMS tools allow you to personalize each message with custom values. So that'll allow you to say, hey, customer first name, and it'll show up with their first name at the start of every email. So as long as you have that information written down and logged in your CRM, it'll be really easy to personalize the messages. Like I said before, by segmenting your audience, you can create different messages that are relevant to their intended category of customer. So this allows you to feed specific, relevant information to people who are actually interested in what you're saying. So like I said before, if you have a prospect, they're going to want to get to know your business more than someone that's already done business with you. This is just a very basic example of prospecting or of segmenting. Now, where you can go further with this is, okay, say segment A only likes lawn cutting. Segment B likes retaining walls and fencing. So you could cut that up because you immediately have one low ticket item, one high ticket item. And so you can alter your messaging according to which segment those people are going to. And you can do that however you want and whatever works best for your business. But the more segmentation that you have, the more relevant and specific information you'll be able to offer to each of those categories. And then make sure you're taking into account the psychology of each segment of your audience. Why do you have their contact information? How did it get to you? What have they purchased in the past, if anything? What have they shown interest in? So you can create multiple tags to segment even further. You can use more than one tag on an account so that you can get really pinpoint specific on who each person is, what they need from you, what they might want from you, what they're interested in, and how you can help them out. So just keep this all in mind. Make sure you're keeping tabs on each and every one of your prospects. Okay, step number 3, timing and frequency. So you need to figure out how often you're going to be sending out these communications, whether it's an email or a text, and you need to figure out what time of the day you want to send them as well. For different days of the week and times of the day will have varying engagement levels. Think about when people are at work, when are people at home, when are people checking their email. People are always getting text messages, but if they're at work, are they going to actually look at it? So think about that. Pay attention to what's going on. So frequency, you need to determine how often you should send these messages, and balance is key. So you really don't want to be a nuisance. You do not want to be that guy that's, oh, so-and-so landscaping's hitting me up 3 days in a row to try to get me to buy something. I'm not going to buy anything. Block. You don't want that. You really don't. You want to show them relevant, engaging, maybe even educational or fun or funny information, content that they're going to, hopefully they enjoy looking at it. That's the end goal. Hopefully they enjoy reading what you have to say, but you at least want to be someone that is tolerated. You don't want to be a nuisance to this person because that's immediately going to put you off and just essentially blacklist you in their mind as, oh, they're annoying. They're a nuisance. They're always hitting me up. I don't want to deal with them. So make sure that you're not sending stuff too often, but make sure that you're striking a balance where you're not being forgotten either. You still want to remind them of who you are on a semi-frequent basis so that they don't forget about you. Remember, it takes 5 to 7 normally touch points to get someone familiar and trusting of your brand. It's even more in this day and age. There's so much marketing out there. It's a sort of a classic metric that it takes 7 touch points for someone to be familiar with you. But with so many brands and so much media and marketing materials out in the world these days, it's really probably more than 7. So just keep that in mind. Now, another thing to keep in mind with this is the seasonality. Landscaping is a seasonal business, and special occasions like holidays. So certain services are seasonal. If you're in an area that gets snow, you're going to want to start marketing your snow removal service a few months before snow starts to hit. Or around the holidays, Black Friday, if you're throwing a deal, you want to start marketing that and running that campaign before it actually happens. Get people aware, get people familiar with what's going on. If they're going to get a deal from working with you in a specific time period, say around Christmas or Black Friday, you want to start to market that beforehand. Or say the grass is going to grow extremely tall in the spring, and so you're going to need to upcharge them during that period of time because it takes longer on their property. you're going to want to let them know in an update via text or email before that happens, so that you don't get complaints about, hey, why is my invoice higher right now? The grass was taller. It took more time. It makes sense. So keep your people in the loop. Communicate certain things at the right time of the year. Make a calendar. What are you going to be sending when? Is there a promotion going out in June? Is there a promotion going out in September? Figure this all out before you start writing your campaigns. Now, another thing is handling responses. So for text messages, make sure you're using a platform where you can either respond through the platform, or you'll at least get notified if someone responds to your text. Now, you can make it so that it says, please don't reply to this message, but people are going to want to get in touch with you. And if they don't know how, they're likely just going to respond to the text message or the email. So make sure that you at least have some way of reading their messages that are coming back after you've communicated with them, and make sure it's not just going into a void where you send it out and then there might be communication coming back from them, but you can't actually even see it. So make sure that that's set up properly in whatever software that you're using. And then, as with all marketing efforts, test and learn what works best for your audience. There's not one set way to do this, one set frequency, one set time of day that's just going to produce the best results. It's going to vary based on what business you're in, what services you offer, what type of audience you have, what type of demographic you serve. So make sure that you're paying attention to the engagement levels. Test different times of the day, test different days of the week, test different frequencies, see what works best for you. It's going to be, honestly, probably a lengthy process, but the more data that you have to support your decisions, the better and better it's going to get. A/B test. This is something I brought up many, many times throughout this course already. A/B test. Simple. You have version A, you have version B. There's one difference. See how they both engage. If there's a significant change in one of them, it means that whatever change you made to that version of the email or text that's going out had a significant positive effect. And so you want to keep that version. And then A/B test it again. Optimize consistently. That's the key with really all marketing, is making sure that you are consistently optimizing so that you can get the best bang for your buck and get the most effectiveness out of the time that you are putting into this strategy. So step number 4 is measuring the success of your campaigns. You need to make sure that you're tracking the results. So important metrics to track are the open rate, how many people are actually looking at your emails as they come out, the click-through rate, if you have links, which you should have links in your communication. You want to see how many people of the people that are opening the emails or texts are actually clicking on those links. And then you also want to see how many people are taking action on your website from those communication methods. So if you can set up the tracking on this, I highly, highly recommend it. And if you need help with doing that, there are plenty of third-party third-party services that can help you out, coaches, consultants, people that can lead you through the process. Make sure that you have tracking set up. Otherwise, you're not going to know what's working. You're not going to know where to put your marketing budget. You need to know what is effective. Now, granted, email and text is extremely cheap, so it's not going to take a lot of budget from you. However, it's important to know either way how much time you're putting into something and how effective it is. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, make sure you're A/B testing to find out what works best. Change one variable compared to a control group. So step 5 is automating your campaigns. You want to plan your entire year's campaigns first. You need to think about the holidays, the seasons. Make sure you've got everything dialed in. So what type of content and communication is going to be used at what time of the year? Then actually go through and create the content at one time. You want to do all the content creation at once. It's going to be super hard writing 2 newsletters every month at the start of the month. Wouldn't you rather just get it all out of the way at first and then automate it to send at the correct times? That's what makes the most sense, at least in my mind. It also ensures a consistent brand voice. You might just have a different style of writing at different points in the year. That's how it works. People's writing evolves. So you want to make sure that you're writing it all at one time so that the voice you're using is staying consistent across all of that content, and the mood that you're in on any given day isn't affecting how you're writing. So then what you can do is, once you have all that content planned out, is you can use your CRM or whatever platform software you're using to schedule send times for each piece of content. So you can say, okay, on December 20th, I want to send the email about our Christmas special. Really, I would recommend sending it earlier than December 20th, but you get the idea. You can say, no matter how far away it is, you can set the date and time that each piece of content is going to be sent out. So make sure you're doing this so that you don't have to worry about actually manually sending everything. If you do this correctly, you can write all the content in a day or two. You can schedule it out at the end of that, and then boom, 2 days, and you already have all of your email and text marketing content for the entire year. So just really make sure that you're doing this in a smart way. You're being efficient with it. You don't have to write all of this stuff every single month. You don't have to come back and write every single email. It's redundant. Do it at once, get it out of the way, schedule it to go out on an automated basis so that you don't have to worry about it. You do it once and then it gets sent and you see the results without having to routinely stay up to date and manually send these emails. What you can do is if you also have an automation system in your CRM, you can also set up routine follow-up texts and emails, invoice reminders, review requests, feedback surveys, and a lot more stuff. So we're going to be getting into that in the back-end automation segment of this course. But just for emails and texts, there's a fair amount of automation that you can do that I highly, highly recommend. So keep that in mind. So step 6 is legal compliance. Super boring, honestly, but just make sure that you're staying legal. If you feel like doing research on all of these things, I recommend it before you get started. It's really pretty basic, though. The people that you're getting in touch with need to know that they've given you their data, and they also need to be able to get in touch with you from the return email address. So as I mentioned before, just make sure that people are actually able to get in touch with you on the return end of things. And just make sure you're staying legal here, guys. Do your research and make sure that nobody can come after you for sending them an email or sending them a text message. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal in this day and age with so many emails and texts coming through, but you really just want to make sure that you're legitimate and you don't have anything for anyone to complain about. So just keep this in mind. A quick summary of what we talked about today. First, you want to build your list of contact information, not just emails, but phone numbers as well. Then you want to craft your message, see what messaging is going to go best with what segment of your audience. Then you want to figure out the timing and frequency of your communication. You want to experiment with this. Then after you've sent it out, you want to measure the results and optimize. Make sure that you're making changes so that you can get better results as time goes on. You want to automate your campaigns so that they're sending out on an automated basis and you don't have to worry about sending each email, each text manually. It takes up a lot of time and effort, not really worth it. And then step number 6 is really just to make sure that you're legally compliant. Make sure that you're collecting numbers and emails in a legal way, and make sure that everyone's aware of who you are. Make sure they're aware of how to opt out, and just make sure that you're staying within the boundaries here. Super important. So anyway, next episode, we're going to be discussing back-end automations, which we covered a little bit in today's episode, but we're going to go in depth on all types of internal notifications, external notifications, and we'll discuss how you can automate all of your marketing and communication efforts as a business, which will save you that precious time by automating everything, making sure that you don't have to go through and do stuff manually. Same idea as automating your campaigns. You're just going to automate as much communication as possible in your business, and we're going to go over how to do that in next episode. So if you enjoyed, if you found this useful, please like, share, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you found this useful. I'm going to be continuing to upload videos on landscape marketing and home service marketing in general, and it would be a huge help to me if you could help spread the word, help get this information out there for people to see. Makes this possible on my end. Anyway, hope that was useful. Hope you learned something, and I will see you in the next episode on back-end automations.